this is I Am Mark III, and I welcome you to Let's Build Archvale. Archvale is a city that I am planning to create in a survival environment. So I'm going to be building it with resources that I collect and surviving all the dangers of the world of Minecraft at the same time. You don't need to worry about resource gathering and stuff like that, because I'll normally do that off camera. I'll only be recording when I do major structure. Right now this is the site that I've settled on. It is quite a long distance from the server spawn. I travelled a long way to get to it, and I recovered a lot of resources on the way out here, which gives me a nice starting place. I chose this area because it's wide open, it's near a jungle, so I'll have plenty of access to wood. As you saw, I looked down at a small ravine, which I plan to use for stone and to get a head start on minerals. But for now, since this is still a survival game, I will not actually be working on the city. That is going to come later. First things first in any survival game is shelter. So here I am, using the resources which I gathered to start to build, well, I would call it a primitive shelter, but I think the fact is I can't actually build primitive structures in Minecraft. I always try to go for some grand design. So as you can see, it is already spreading far beyond the needs of a simple mud cube. It's even started with some decorations, some nice spruce stairing around what I plan to be the front of the house. I've put all my items in a chest to keep them safe in case I actually manage to get myself killed during all this, which, given survival, is actually quite likely. But right now the floor is going down. I usually go for a slightly rounded shape like this, and I just ran out of jungle wood already, so I've had to wander off and collect some more trees. I'm afraid I'll have to actually do this a lot during the recorded time, because I did bring quite a bit of resources with me, as you can see from putting down saplings and from the work that's already gone down, but they are already running out when it comes to wood, because I am always underestimating how much wood I need for the initial stages of a build. Building up the side walls now, leaving room for windows. I did collect some sand on the way out, so I'm going to put glass in, and oh dear, it is getting dark. I've not yet noticed in the recording, but now I have. Because I'm used to being quick off the mark and building a smaller shelter rather than something that looks nice for the camera, I have actually gone and forgotten to arrange any kind of light source for myself. So I had to quickly run down the ravine, grab stone. I had enough for like a single pickaxe, and that's about it, and start working on creating charcoal. I would normally have done this much sooner. Even though we started at daybreak, I am very pressed for time because of the survival situation. My only light source is the furnaces. Such a lonely sight, and oh god, there's creepers and skeletons and zombies and everything all around me. I think you can see where this is going to go. Stupid survival. But yes, I don't tend to be bothered too much by night. So I started working out, and oh god, there's a creeper. And that's the first instance of creeper damage to my construction. It's blown a hole in the floor, which I've not yet filled in, because I'm more focused on getting the front of the structure actually put together, rather than filling in the huge gaping holes in my defence, such as it is. This, however, is as far as I'm going to take the spruce stairs decorating the structure, because I'm going to expand outwards and upwards from here. So once the front is done, I'm not really going to do much to it. I've already forgotten the name of this city I'm working on. Oh well, it'll come back to me, it'll come back to me. But yes, first step, build the base. I want to have this place able to keep me safe which at the moment it is failing admirably to do so. I want it safe, and I want to build it up so that I have resources and machinery available which can help me in my quest to build the main city. And there we go, planting the spruce wood saplings so that I can actually get a supply of that wood type as well. Unfortunately, I'm also out of wood again. It shows how quickly I burn through it all. So I'm going harvesting some more. I'm just deforesting the edge of the jungle like that, and that was a bit of a mistake actually, because the leaves despawned there and I fell into that water pool which has been revealed and met an unfriendly native, as you can see from all of the arrows decorating my person. That was fun. Anyway, first blast going down, I actually put some of that into the furnaces, and I'm continuing to try to deforest the area to keep my wood supplies high enough to sustain the building. At least it's day, so I don't really have to worry about too much out here. One thing I will have to turn my attention to at some point is food as well as shelter. I have some chicken on me, but that's about it. So it's a typical survival situation really. Short on resources, short on time, and just trying to get things done. Having learned my lesson slightly, I'm putting down the single carrot that I was holding on to from a zombie on my way there. And I have also used some of my very scarce iron to give myself a chest piece. I think I have something like 4 iron left over at this point. That's enough for a pickaxe and not much else, but I need the extra defense to try and survive, because I don't particularly want to get myself killed. There's a ladder going in there, starting to put a roof on, and it's all in preparation to starting to add a second floor to this building. I'm not really interested in building small blocks or cubes or things like that. I actually want to build places that I like the look of. Though in this case that does mean a little bit of terraforming around the back. Just digging out some sand, and I actually broke my shovel at this point, so I need to get a new one. And hark! Halfway through the second day and I finally put down my first torches. It shows how long I took to actually get a reliable light source. Oh, it's not halfway through, it's actually getting dark again, while I'm over in the forest getting some more wood. Who'd have thunk it? Anyway, just cutting down trees in the dark. I'm going to get murdered horribly, but I don't. I make it back. And just in time, because there's a lot of creepers spawning around now. I wonder if the creeper head draws them. I don't think it does. Anyway, moving on. This is now a side branch from the main house that I'm building, continuing to try to close it up. And as you can see, there's a slight blip in the video there, and a creeper exploded, taking out half of one of the new walls. They are very friendly neighbours indeed. Doesn't take me long to fill that back in though. And this area is, I believe, I'm going to use it as a machinery housing area. It's going to be smaller than the main one, more cramped, but it'll be easier to reach things. And easy to repair as well. Since this is survival, I am almost inevitably going to have to repair things, and I have had to quite a few times already. Putting on the steps to ring around for the roof, and that is how tall it's going to be actually, only a couple of blocks tall inside. My next issue is mobs. As you can see, there's a lot of mobs coming, so I'm putting down some torches around the outside of the house to try and dissuade them from spawning too closely, and continuing to put a roof on to that small extension. It's kind of telling, isn't it? The first part of the house to get a roof is a smaller side area where I'm not actually planning to be living. Oh well, it can't be helped. My next plan for this was to actually deal with that skeleton before I got shot too badly. But I'm going to be arcing the wood around the back because, again, I don't really go for square builds that much. So my plan here is to build something that curves around nicely, leading into the smaller machine side of things. And I need more wood, so I have disappeared into the jungle. Ah yes, I figured it was that one. That's where I used tree carpetation to cut down a 4-thick jungle tree, and I got absolutely showered with logs. I think it was nearly 2 stacks. Very useful. Unfortunately, tree carpetation has its limits because it's not actually shown in the video, but there is a tiny cap of that tree still left hanging in midair. I hate it when that happens, so I'll have to clear it up after I've finished recording. But it gives me more than enough wood to actually continue my build. New vantage point here. You can see how the back of it is now curving around. And the main reason for the vantage point is that I'm actually going to begin construction on the upper floor. The upper floor is where I will house my bed. I'm just putting in a bit of spruce there to give it a different flooring texture. Accidentally put an extra block down. I need it too wide because I'm trying for a bit of symmetry. But the upper floor I am planning to use it for storage, for my bed, and it'll also need access to the roof, so there's an extra doorway put in up there. Quite handy really. Altogether though, I think this is a vast improvement on the box that is the common feature. And an inconvenient tree caused me to move the viewpoint again, just to give a better look on things. Unfortunately by this point I have long since run out of glass, along with some other resources, so yes, I've just been down mining stone. I didn't actually spot myself going down there. This is the problem with that recording after the fact, isn't it? And now I have moved off to that nice sandy patch to go and ruin the landscape by removing all of the sand above the waterline. Seriously, I need a ridiculous amount of sand. Actually no, that's not correct. I need a good amount of sand, but I need wood an awful lot more. Because I'm using it for fuel, I'm using it to smelt things, and I'm using it as the primary resource in the actual construction itself. Still, from here you can see the overall shape and size of this house. It's a bit like a sausage which has been bent in half, I think, with, well, that's the ground floor really. Plenty of room in the ground floor. There goes an enderman. Plenty of room on the ground floor. It is going to be well spaced for anything I need to put in there. My eventual plans include mistcraft for gathering resources without wrecking the entire landscape with quarries. And the side machine area, as I already mentioned, I'm probably going to use some buildcraft machinery, maybe some forestry, and, well, pesky skeleton. I'm going to, yeah, as I said, I'm going to use mainly buildcraft and I've forgotten the name of it already. Buildcraft and Mine Factory, I think, is the other mod I'm primarily interested in at this stage. Nice cheap machines which can multiply resources that I gather through pulverizers and sawmills. Anyway, the walls of the second story are now up. Just need to quickly deal with a couple of skeletons that were taking pot shots at me. There's one thing I don't like, is having pot shots taken at me, because the arrows are a tiny bit distracting, as are creepers. Yes, I don't like creepers very much at all. No Minecrafter does, and oh dear. It's another repair job because I just lost the wall to the machine wing, I think it should be called, while I was trying to put the roof on it. I've cut 2 grooves out of the roof because it's a flat area, it's dark, so it can spawn mobs, and I don't want that. So I am actually putting glass into the top of it, with stairs to either side, and next I will be putting down, yeah, I just put down some flat panels of wood to maintain the overall wooden aspect of it, while also leaving thin gaps of glass to let light through and prevent any mobs from spawning on top of it. Glass has also gone into the windows of the upper floor, So that just leaves on the to-do list, well, to put in the last door, dead centre on the structure, if you can see the gap there, and to actually put on the roof, which is really the only thing keeping this home from being complete, to be perfectly honest. Yep, there goes the door, and here comes the roof. Now, I could have gone with a flat roof design here, but I decided not to, again because of the dislike of generally boxy structures and things like that. Again, I'm arranging things so that, it's a better vantage point, I'm arranging things so that I can have light shining out from glass dug into the wooden structure, which will illuminate the roof enough to prevent any mobs from spawning on top of it, while also maintaining the overall aesthetic design of it. The balcony is flat, and that might come back to bite me later, but I doubt it because of the light source in the nearest raised part of the roof. Those two humps are there, so now all that's left is to finish off with a central window, again to let the light through. And finally, because of my mentioned dislike of boxy structures, I am actually cutting away the outer edge of the roof at the back of the house where it is curved and lining it with steps, just to give it that layered look. And this overall completes the structure of the house. Just a small window added on top of the covering area of wood to let light out. This is normally an early stage for most people, but I tend to leave the floor until very late on, mainly because having grass floor inside doesn't really hurt you that much, so there's better places to put your wood or whatever materials it is you're using. I'm just creating a ring of steps around here, and I'm going to lay down a last bit of wood to create an indented area to give some variation in the floor. And now, last but not least, the floor for the machine shop, which again has a core of spruce put down in the middle to create the difference. And voila! The temporary survival house, well, we can call it temporary, but it's actually going to last for quite a while. The wooden house is ready for use. All that is left now is to secure a food supply, which would normally come a lot sooner, but I am a complete idiot and apparently don't like eating. So I am beginning to fence off an outside area to protect my carrots from trampling, and I also need the space to, well, whatever I choose to put outside. I actually need to put down wheat because, well, I can't rely on having a good source of animals for food. Not yet. So I need to put down the seeds I've collected, to put down wheat, and hopefully I can grow some carrots. But I want to get in and out of this fenced area without any problems, so I'm putting in gates as well, which will give me, in total I will wind up with 4 points where I can get in and out of the protection of the house, either by its fences or its walls. Though technically near the front is really close together, so that just counts as, yeah, that just counts as one area. Now, to add the wheat, I need a water source. I didn't have the spare iron for a bucket, so I went back to that pool of water where I got shot at by a skeleton and started extending the water flow using wooden steps to channel it. This is really a messy way to go about it, but it's effective, and I wound up with a water feature and flooded the canyon down below, at least on a temporary basis. If only it could flood out all the enemies down there. Oh well. But yes, unsatisfied with the dirt there, I went back and started putting down steps as well, expanding this into a full-fledged cultivated area, really just for appearance's sake more than anything else, because I want it to fit in with the rest of the design. And there we go, a nice water feature at the back of the house. That just leaves extending it into the middle of my garden area so that I can actually put down some wheat. Hopefully I will not starve to death or get blown up by creepers. Yes, I see you. Oh dear. More creeper damage to try and patch up. But yes, right now the concern is food, because by this stage I am almost completely out of the stuff. So I want to get my garden up and running as much as possible. The carrots unfortunately have not grown enough, so I just reset those. But because of the distance to the water source, I am having to dig it lower so that I can plant my seeds in the central location like I was planning. But because I'd rather not drop down, and to expand on the looks, I'm again using wooden steps around the edges to give easier access to and from the wheat. Overall, this is actually turning out rather nicely. Nice homing place. Now it just needs one last light source, and there we go. And there you have it. In the space of a couple of days, I think it was 3 or 4, I wasn't counting, I have built this little home from home out in the wilderness of Minecraftia. I should not use Minecraftia because that is Yogscast. But anyway, the outside fields, growing wheat, hopefully growing carrots when I get enough of it. They shall keep me fed, and I shall expand them with animal pens as I gain the ability to capture them. The roof is designed very nicely, well I feel so, and this lower area will house any machinery which I use during my stay here. The nice creeper head can keep watch over the base of the ladder, and furnaces and chests will reside in the lower area. The upper floor is much more cramped, but it is a sleeping area and it will hold additional chests of materials, while the plentiful windows allow a lot of light to get into the entire structure. That's it. So thank you for watching. This is Iron Mark 3, signing off until next time.